Right, here we go. Have finally got ourselves streaming. Had a few technical hiccups there, and we're now connected to the internet and streaming live. So we're looking at our first section of this stream, which is to solve this algebraic fraction here, which is a past paper question, which caused problems to the level 6 students. And to do this, what we need to do is we need to revise how to factorize, and we also need to revise algebraic fractions. So let's go in and do a little bit of factorization and revision of that. And let's just start off with some easy ones to get you warmed up. So 30 seconds for the first one. Off you go. Have a go at this one here. Okay, so let's see how you did on that one. You should hopefully have spotted that you have, let's just get a finer pen than that. So you should have spotted that you needed x and x to get the x squared. You need two numbers to times together to give you 3, so try 3 and 1. And then they must both be minus, because minus 1 times minus 3 gives me the plus 3. When you subtract, when you do the minus 1 times the x and the x times the minus 3, you get minus 4x. And you can always use our friend FOIL to multiply out the first, outer, inner, last. So the first means the first two terms, x and x is x squared. The outer two terms is x and minus 3, which is minus 3x. The inner two terms is minus x. And the last two terms, the minus 1 and the minus 3, times them together to get you plus 3. And you can see these two combine to give you the minus 4x. So if we do our check, we can see we've got this right, and our final answer is x minus 1, x minus 3. So, and let's just go on to this one, another little bit of revision from our previous sessions. So let's just give you 30 seconds to try. Well, I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to do this because you either know it or you don't from our previous section. So I'm just going to time off 10 seconds on here. Okay, so this is the one we call difference of two squares, and they always follow this pattern. You've got something squared minus something squared. If you have x squared minus a squared, it always follows this pattern, x minus a, x plus a, i.e. the square root of the second term and the square root of the first term. So you've got x minus a, 4 square rooted, which is 2, and x plus 2. And what you will notice is it doesn't really matter which order you put these in. They can be written in any order. Right, let's just do this one just to recap a different type of one. Again, I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to do this. That's the speed you should be doing these factorizations at by now. Okay, so we notice that we don't have 3 terms, and this is going to be tricky to do double brackets. So what we do have is we do have a common factor of x. Now, actually, that's the first thing you should look for when factorizing. You should look for if you have a common factor. And a common factor is x, and we take it out. If we take x out of here, we are left with x, and if we take x out of here, we are left with 8. That factorizes to x times x plus 8. Okay, let's see if you can spot this one. Give you again another 10 seconds to have a go at this. And it's crucial you can do these quickly. All right, so you should be getting to this stage. Factorization can be very crucial for this topic and many topics. So again, it's just difference of two squares. So we got x minus 4, x plus 4. Okay, you can check that by multiplying out yourselves. Now, I'm going to move on to some more complicated ones just to give you some practice. Okay, let's move over to here and do this one. I'm going to give you not very long to do this one again. I might just give you a few more seconds than the 10 seconds I've been giving you so far, because it's just a slight twist. Okay, that's probably enough. Again, you've got difference of two squares. You've got the yellow thing squared. Well, not quite the yellow thing squared. You've almost got the yellow thing squared. And we've got the 25 squared. But we can turn the yellow bit into a square. It's 2x. 10. It's 2x all squared. And this is minus 5 squared. So in our brackets, we will write 2x minus 5 and 2x plus 5. And that's how we factorize that. Okay, let's just give you 10 seconds to see if you can spot this one. Off you go. Okay, and so again we've got a common factor. First of all, we look for a common factor, x, and we spot our common factor is x, so we take that out. And we get x. I'll leave x from there. Take x from there, you're left with 2. You get x times x. 2. Right, let's try one of these more tricky ones here. I'm going to give you a minute to think about this one. Just take a little bit of thinking. Okay, so we have done that one, or at least you should have attended by that by now. So we're going to try and get two things at times together to give us 2x squared. So we have 2x and x, and we need two things at times together to give us 4. When combined with the 2x will give us 9x. Now if we do 4 times the 2x, we can see we can get 8x, and then there's 4 can be multiplied as 4 times 1, isn't it? So therefore we get another x out from the 1. So we do minus 4 minus 1. And we need the minuses, okay, because we need a minus 9. So we get a minus x from here and a minus 8x from here, which combine together to give me the minus 9x I need. Okay, we're just going to do one more of these difficult ones. We'll have a go at this one here, okay, because we need to get to crack on and do some more algebraic fractions and stuff to get through this topic. And also that's only half the question. The second half of the GCSE question people had problems on was rearranging equations, which is quite a tricky one, which involves factorization again. So let's crack on and do this one. I'm just going to give you a little bit less than a minute because I've been talking and you've been looking at it. There you go. Right, probably about the minute in the end. So again, we're going to do double brackets because there's no common factor. There's nothing that's a common factor in all 3 bits. So we're going to put 2x here and a hex here. And the minus 5, well, we're going to get minus 1 times 5, or we're going to get 1 times minus 5. Now I'm going to go with the minus 1 times 5 because I've got a plus 9x here. And if I do the 5 times the 2x, that will give me 10x. And minus 1 times x will give me minus 1x. So those will combine to give me minus x, so minus 9x. I can see minus x here, and I can see 10x here. So those two will combine together to give me my minus x. So let's move on to simplifying some fractions. Let's start off with straightforward ones. Now this one, we're going to start off with this. I'm not going to give you very long. I'm going to give you 30 seconds because actually it should be very straightforward if you can see what to do. Right, here we go. Well, when you're simplifying fractions, you've got to look for common factors, top and bottom. And we see we've got x plus 2 times everything on the top, and we've also got x plus 2 times everything on the bottom. And if you've got a common factor, top and bottom, you can cancel them out. So that will just leave us x minus 2 on the top over x on the bottom. Now don't do what some students do, is make a mistake here and think, oh, I can just get rid of the x, and that just leaves me minus 2. Unfortunately, that's completely wrong. Okay, we don't have a common factor top and bottom. We need to cancel. We need to have something times everything on the top and something times everything on the bottom. And we don't have that. We've got x times 1 on the bottom, but we don't have x times everything on the top. There's no way we can cancel the x. So this one's a little bit more work to do, but I'm still only going to give you 30 seconds because once you've done the work needed, it's actually really quick to solve. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And we see we need to factorise the top. And there's a common factor again of x and x. So let's take that x out. That leaves us x times by x minus 2. And on the bottom, we've still got x times x plus 2. We can't factorise that anymore. And we can see we have a common factor of x top and bottom. So that leaves us just x minus 2 over x plus 2. And again, no common factor here. I have seen students get this down to minus 1 by cancelling out the x's. Okay, thinking, oh, we'll cancel out the x and cancelling out the 2's and leaving just minus 1. Unfortunately, there is no common factor there. So we cannot cancel any of that down. Right, have a go at this one. I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to look at this one and see what you come up with. Now this is a trick question, okay? There is nothing that you can cancel down. There are no common factors top and bottom. So it's just x minus 2 over x. You don't cancel the x's because there is no common factor. Right, I'm just going to jump ahead a bit, move us on. Let's just have a go at this one here. I've got a bit more work to do. Things aren't factorized. What do you think you need to do? Okay, sorry about that. Right, we're going to factorise this one here, and we get on the top. Yeah, that's the one we were doing, wasn't it? Yeah. So we're going to get x minus put into two brackets, and we need two things. Multiply to give us 4, and add together to give us minus 4x. Well, we could have minus 2 and minus 2. 8 times together to give me 4, and when you combine them together, you get minus 4x. On the bottom, we got x as a common factor, x here and x here, and so therefore we get x minus 2 on the bottom. And we can see straight away that we can cancel out one of the x minus 2's to leave ourselves with just x minus 2 over x. Okay, one last one of these before we, let's do this bottom one, tricky one. Do this one here before we move on to the exam question. Okay, let's look at that one. Let's factorise the top a bit more. So x squared minus 16, hopefully you can remember that that's just x minus 4 times x plus 4. On the bottom, let's take out a factor. We've got x times x plus 4. So lots of things to cancel down here. We've got a common factor of x and x on the top and bottom, and we've got a common factor of x plus 4. So that just leaves us a final answer of x minus 4. Actually, we don't need that bracket as our final answer. So let's see if you can now do the wrong page, the exam problem that caused so much trouble. Here we go. Here's the exam problem. It's a, how many marks? It's a 3 marker. I'm not going to give you 3 minutes because I think by now you should be able to do this in 2 minutes. Have a go and see what you can do with this one. Okay, here we go. Let's have a go at this question. So we factorise both top and bottom. The top factorises, should be an easy one by now, especially if you've seen it a few times. X minus 4 times by x plus 4. And let's factorise the bottom. So we're going to have a 2x here. And we're going to have an x here. And we need something to times together to give us 12. Let's look at, say, 2 and 6. Does that work? Can we get 2 times 6 to get combined with the 2 to get us a 5? Probably not. 3 and 4. Can I see how I can do it with 3 and 4? Yes, I can see I can do it in 3 and 4. Because 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 away from 8 is 5. That's how I'm going to do that. So I'll put the 4 over here, so we can times with the 2x, and I'll put the 3 here to times with the x. Now I'm just going to get my minus and pluses the right way around. Now I want a minus 5x, so I'm going to make that the negative, and this the positive. Because that will give me 3x, and this will give me minus 8x. 8x even. And that combines to give me the 5x. So now I've factorised it, I can now do some cancelling down. Here we go. And so therefore my final answer will be x plus 4 over 2x plus 3. Right, moving on to the rearranging equations part. If we actually look at the problem, this is part B of the same question. We've got to make that the subject of the formula. So what we're going to do, we're going to practice some of these type. We'll start off with a nice easy one. And I'm going to give you a minute to play with it and then see how you get on, and then I'll go through how you do these. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the fraction. We don't like fractions, they make life difficult. So let's get rid of the fraction. So we do that by multiplying by the denominator. We multiply by the bottom and we can get rid of the fraction. So we times both sides by x. So y times by x is xy. Times this side by x, we're just left with x plus 2. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to get all the x's on the same side because we want to make x the subject. So let's get all the x's on the same side. So that means we need to move this onto the same side as the other x. So x, y, take away x because we can. This is added to 2, so we undo by taking away x equals 2. And then we factorize. Then the next key thing is to work out how do we get x on its own. Well, we do it by factorizing. Take out a factor of x because we have a common factor of x. So that leaves us just y minus 1 equals 2. And once we've done that, we can see we can divide by y minus 1. Just choose a different colour there, so it doesn't confuse with the previous highlighting. So we divide by y minus 1 to just leave us x equals 2 over y minus 1. Now I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to leave some of these here for you to practice because I want to move on and get on to something else. Let's just try this one here. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to have a go at this. Right, so let's have a quick look at that one. Sorry about that. We've got to try and get rid of the fraction. Highlighting first. Try and get rid of the fraction, so we times that by x minus 1. So we get y times x minus equals 2x plus t. Now the only way we're going to get the x's on their own is to multiply out both brackets. So let's do that. So we times y by x, we get yx. Times minus 1 by y, we get minus y, equals 2x plus 2t. Let's get all the x's on one side. So let's take away the 2x here from this side. And we get yx minus y minus 2x equals 2t. I'm going to do too much in one go. And now I want to get rid of this y because I only want x's on this side. Now, yes, I know I've got a 2 here and I've got a y here. Leave them there because they're attached to those x's. We can't detach them yet. So we get yx minus 2x equals y plus 2t. So I've added y to this side and I've added y to this side. Now I can factorize. I've got an x here and an x here, common factor. So let's get that factorized. And then we can get x on its own. So x taken out leaves us just y. X taken out of here leaves us just minus 2 equals y plus t. And then we can just divide by the whole of this. So we're going to divide by y minus 2. So leaves us x on one side. Then y plus 2t over y minus 2 on the other side. So the pattern is always the same. Get rid of the denominator to get rid of the fraction. Multiply out if you need to. Get all the x's on one side. Get everything else on the other side. Factorize and then divide. So let's see if you can remember all that when doing the GCSE problem that caused so much grief. Here you go. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this. See how you get on. Right, so we're going to make v the subject of this formula. So let's do what we've been doing all along. Let's get rid of the fraction. So we get wv equals 15t minus 2v. So multiply out the brackets, 15t minus 30v. And now we're ready to get all the v's on the same side. So we do that by adding 30v to both sides. Add 30v to this side. If you add 30v to the other side, then you're just left with 15t. Now we've got a couple of these. Here's one, there's another. We can factorize them. W plus 30 equals 15t. So when you've got these ones where you've got different multiples of v that you can't add together in different parts of the expression, you must always be looking to factorize. And once we've done that, we can then just divide by w plus 30, get 15t over w plus 30. So that's the end of the first half of the stream, which is all the 6 to 7 stuff. In the second half, we're going to have a pause after this, and in the second half, we will be looking at the 7 to 8 problem.